Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, the NFL offseason's already getting going, man. We're less than 2 weeks away from NFL free agency, and the NFL scouting combine is underway up in Indianapolis with the NFL draft only 2 months away there in late April in Pittsburgh. Let's talk about all of it with Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports, who's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Luke, how we doing, man?
Hey,
receiver. What did you make of that news that came out a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go back to even some of the conversations that you and I had leading up to the draft last year, that's where I thought he was best, right? I thought that that's where the value was. If you're trading up from 5 to 2, and James Gladstone sold it as getting 2 players for 1, and I still think that's true. But if you were looking for the most value for that player, I always felt like Travis Hunter's ability as a corner is harder to find than what he brings to the table as a wide receiver. And I think that being the case, I still think he can be a dynamic playmaker on offense. And I still think, manufacturing a handful of touches for him every game is still going to be a part of the offense, and it should be. But, man, if you just watch his tape as a corner at Colorado, there's just corners with his kind of not just athletic ability, but the mental side of the game. He understands the game at such a high level. He's always one step ahead of every play, and it's just so hard to find corners who can do all of those things physically and mentally that he can. And so I always felt like if he had to pick one, corner was what he is best at. Again, not taking away from what he does at receiver. I just think he's a better corner, and I think it's harder to find those guys at that position than it is at wide receiver. And so I think it always made more sense to make him a full-time corner. And also, I just think that if you're making him a part of your base defense, it's a lot easier for him to focus on being on the field on defense all the time. And then on offense, you go in when the ball is like when it's your turn and there's certain packages. Defense, it's a lot weirder to do that, right? It's a lot harder to be like, okay, we're going to run this defense and now we're just going to drop this guy in with these types of, assignments and schemes. It's a little bit different when you're playing defense as opposed to offense. So it makes sense to me. I thought that always should have been the plan from the beginning. But that's kind of the way I look at it.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. And what's interesting is, all right, you got the impending free agency of Greg Newsome and Montaric Brown. We got the news that comes out reportedly that Travis Hunter will be a primary defensive back in 2026. You only got 7 games out of him last year. You didn't see any of Caleb Ransaw, who was the 3rd-round pick out of Tulane. I've heard safety for him. I've heard even nickel corner for him. Certainly the Jaguars might be getting 2 starter-caliber guys back in Travis Hunter and potentially Caleb Ransaw in that secondary.
Yeah, Ransaw was an interesting evaluation because I think that is where he is best, right? He's got some safety reps. He's got some nickel reps. I kind of love him in the nickel. He's short, but he's not small, right? He's like 200 pounds at 5'11". So he's a stocky guy. He's a thick guy. He can handle the physicality of playing down there in the box, whether he's at safety or in the nickel, but he can fly. I mean, that dude has got speed. We saw it at the combine last year. I think they're excited to get him back and to see what he can bring to the defense. And I think that and moving Travis Hunter to corner fully makes it a little less of a need. I still expect them to draft a corner this year. How early will depend on how they can address those other needs. And without a 1st-round pick, it makes it a little more difficult, obviously. But I think they're excited about what they see in Ransaw, and there's a lot of potential there with the versatility that he brings to line up at different spots.
Obviously, outside of Travis Hunter, Luke, probably the biggest rookie that had the biggest impact for the Jaguars was Bashel Tutin at the running back position. With the uncertainty of Travis Etienne, he hits free agency in a couple of weeks. Could be brought back, but certainly could depart as well. What is your thought on Tutin being running back 1 here in Jacksonville, or do you think Jacksonville needs to do something to bring in either a veteran in free agency or potentially draft one on, say, day number 2?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot for ETN because usually teams let other teams overpay for their running backs in free agency, right? If you have a pretty good one, you usually don't break the bank to keep that guy. You let someone else pay them more than you're willing, and you just kind of reload at that position. But I wonder if Travis Etienne looks at it and says, "Man, this Liam Cohen offense is really great for me. Like this I had the best year of my career. I'm featured as a runner and a receiver. I've got a chance to, maybe if I take a little less money, again, not paying state tax helps in Jacksonville always. But maybe I take a little bit less than I would get from some, other team. And again, usually the teams that are willing to pay you the most are the bad teams because they've got all the cap space, right? So, if you want to stay with a 13-win team that's ascending, and that was what happened in the first year with Liam Cohen, and you're going to be a focal point of that offense, maybe you do take a little less than you would from the Jets or the Raiders or the Cardinals or something, one of those teams on the market that might pay you a little bit more. But as far as Tootin goes, obviously, I love the skill set, the speed, the vision, the patience. He can make plays out of the backfield as a receiver. He's so explosive. If you're going to be a running back one in this league, you got to hold on to the dang football, man. And so that remains. It was his biggest issue coming out of Virginia Tech. It remains his biggest issue now. That kind of is limiting his ceiling. In terms of how the Jaguars look at it, I don't know that he would be, even if Travis Etienne goes, I don't know if he would be your traditional running back one in that he would get that same workload. I think LaQuint Allen showed a lot of promise last year. Even as the third back in that group. And I think his emergence as even in training camp is what pushed them to be like, we don't need Tank Bigsby around. We've got some young guys here that we have confidence in. And so I think that even if Travis Etienne were gone, it would be much more of a split between Allen and kind of the power and the strength he brings to the game and the speed with Tootin. But he's got to hang on to the football if he wants to be a primary back in this league.
Final question before we get to this year's draft class. You're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer guy, and I got to ask, if ETN leaves, there's a thought that Rachaad White, same age, may be cheaper than ETN, and also did pretty well in Cohen's offense in Tampa in 2024. What would your thoughts be on the Jaguars bringing in a Rachaad White to replace ETN?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. He's a different back than Travis is in terms of the explosiveness. He doesn't quite have that quickness and acceleration, but he's just such a good back to have in your backfield because he does all the little things well. The Bucs have Bucky Irving, obviously, and I know he was banged up last year, but a lot of Bucs fans even wondered, like, man, Bucky is so good, in space, and he's so explosive. Why is he not on the field on third down all the time? He's not on the field on third down because Rachaad White is so darn good at pass protection and picking up blitzes and understanding defensive fronts. And he's bigger. He's more physical. He was just so good in that role that he kept a more explosive playmaker in Bucky Irving off the field on third downs half the time just because he was so good at that. And so, he's a great teammate. He's a guy that, again, can do enough as a runner, enough as a receiver, and he really makes his money as a pass blocker. You can keep him in on third downs because, yeah, he can catch screens. Yeah, he can line up pretty much everywhere on the field. But he's big, he's tough, he's smart, and, again, he keeps your quarterback clean if you need to keep him in the pass block. So, again, even if he would sign in Jacksonville, I wouldn't necessarily see him in the same exact role as Travis Etienne because their skill sets are a little bit different. But I think wherever Rachaad White lands, he's going to be well received by his teammates and his fans because he does all those small things so well.
Final moments, Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. All right, the scouting combine going on up in Indianapolis. Luke, as we know, the Jaguars don't have a first-round pick. What they do have, though, are 4 picks in the top 100. They made that trade with Detroit last year on draft weekend to get Detroit's 2 third-rounders. And now all of a sudden you look, and to have 4 day 2 picks seems to be pretty good on the surface, Luke, without a first-round selection.
Yeah, and I think it's great in this draft, too, because I think there's going to be a ton of depth on day 2. I think I always say that, but the drafts have just been that way where, it hurts to not have a first rounder, but it's a late first rounder because of the season they had. And I think that's kind of what they were banking on when they made that trade. I think the scary part for everybody else is that they won 13 games and played more than half of them without the guy they traded up for. So, getting a healthy Travis Hunter back makes a 13-win team that much better. But, I look at some of the positions where they could have big needs. I look along the offensive line, and I think they'll have plenty of value to pick from there on day 2. I look at on defense where, the safety class is really, really strong. The linebacker class is really, really strong. I think interior defensive line is a place where they could find some depth. A lot of the places where they're going to need to address with those 4 picks, I think they're going to have a ton of value on the board, and they can just let the draft come to them at any one of those positions and be really happy going into day 3 with again, if they stick with all those picks and make 4 selections, I think they're going to be really happy with the balance of need and value that they're going to be able to find there.
If Devin Lloyd leaves in free agency, and certainly it appears he probably is based on the contract numbers that he might get in a couple of weeks, is there a linebacker at 56 or even at 81 that you would look at to say, yeah, that guy could potentially one day be Devin Lloyd's replacement?
Yeah, there's a few. Like I said, I really love this linebacker class. It's kind of the opposite of last year where we had, not a lot of depth after that first 1 or 2 guys. But, this year you got Sonny Styles from Ohio State at the top. You got C.J. Allen, who I think can go in the first round out of Georgia. But in the second round, I mean, if Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas is there, I think I would run that card up. Jacob Rodriguez, we all saw him dominate at Texas Tech this past year. If he's still on the board there in the mid to late second round, I'd be a huge fan of that. Jake Golday from Cincinnati is an underrated guy. Josiah Trotter from Missouri, if they're into the third round without a linebacker. So, yeah, I love the overall depth of this group. And I think, again, whether it's in the second or third round, they're going to find somebody who would be able to step into that role.
Potentially if Monteric Brown and Greg Newsome leave, even with Hunter at DB, they could still need to do something there with Hunter, Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis. How would you assess the corner class this year?
Yeah, again, we mentioned Ransaw earlier, and I think it really comes down to their confidence in him at the nickel, because if they're planning on having Hunter on one side, Jones on the other on the outside, and then if they can be confident that a guy like Ransaw could handle the nickel duties, or Jordan Lewis kind of getting a bit older, not sure if he'll be as durable getting into this point in his career. You just have to decide, can we rely on those guys on the outside, or do we need to target a third outside corner? Do we need to target a nickel guy if we're not confident in Ransaw, or if he's going to be more of a safety for us? So, again, all of those things come into the decision-making process when you're on the board, and you compare it to who's on the board. If we like what we have at safety, we like Ransaw better as a safety, and we are confident in the outside corners, we look for a nickel guy. If it's the other way around, you're looking for an outside guy. That's where you have to look at what's available on the board. It's not just, do we need a corner? It's, okay, where's the value on the board? Is that, are the best corners on the board outside corners? And is that what we feel like we need more, or is it the other way around? Those are all the conversations that are happening in those rooms, and they're happening right now as they go to the combine and evaluate these players. I know Liam Cohen and Gladstone won't be there physically. But that's what's happening in these rooms, man. They're trying to decide what we need the most, where the value is going to match up with that, and hopefully it matches up in a way that makes a lot of sense for Jacksonville.
Luke, final question. Give me, in your opinion, the best position in this year's draft class and maybe the weakest position in this year's draft class.
Yeah, I think the deepest one is the edge rusher class, man. I mean, this group, I really like the receiver class. There's a couple, again, it's, the safeties are deep. The linebackers are pretty deep. I think the offensive line class is pretty deep, offensive tackle in particular. But when you look in this edge class, man, I mean, I could see 6, 7, maybe 8 of the first round picks. I mean, we're talking almost a quarter of the entire first round could be edge rushers, and they're all worthy. And there's all different shapes and sizes and scheme. Like, you can get any type of edge rusher you need in this draft. And I think, if I were to stack my top 50, top 100 board, it would just be full of so many of these guys. I did all the content for our draft magazine that comes out every year. You'll be able to see that in a couple weeks here. But I did 20 edge rushers deep for that magazine, and I tapped out at still a 4th round grade. I didn't get beyond 4th round grades in the top 20 edge rushers in this class. So that just speaks to how many more guys there will be on the board after that 4th round range, and how deep those first few rounds are going to be at the position. The weakest one, I really think it's the running back class. I mean, you have Jeremiah Love. I could say quarterbacks as well. It's very similar, where you've got one guy at the top, Jeremiah Love in the running back group, Fernando Mendoza in the quarterback group. And then you've got, Ty Simpson from Alabama as a quarterback. He may sneak into the first round, but I think that has way more to do with how weak this class is than it does what he actually brings to the table as a prospect. And on the running back side, Jadarian Price, who's the other Notre Dame running back in this class, I think he will probably be the next one off the board on day 2 at some point. But you're talking about Mendoza, who's going number 1, Jeremiah Love, who's a top 5 player, maybe the best player in this draft overall, regardless of position. He's definitely a top 10 pick. And I think you could have a really long wait till that next quarterback or running back, and then an even longer wait after that, especially Trinidad Chambliss going back to Ole Miss. I mean, after that, it's what, Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, all these guys that were big names in college, but just never really delivered. Taylon Green from Arkansas actually might have the most upside with the physical tools he brings to the table, but it's similar with the running back group where somebody's going to start looking for a certain type of back in that group. Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, he had a broken foot at the Senior Bowl, so he might drop a little. It's just there's such a discrepancy between the top of the board at those 2 positions and then the drop to the next guy, and the overall depth at quarterback and running back just isn't there this year.
Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports. Luke, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the magazine and the coverage you guys will have on Athlon Sports in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, every week at Athlon Sports, I have a brand new mock draft every Thursday morning now. Right now, I'm doing 3 rounds. After the combine, it'll expand to 4. So if you're a team that doesn't have a first-round pick, I'm still going to have you covered in those mock drafts every week. My good friend Doug Farrar, who works with us at Athlon Sports, he's there in Indy this week and already putting out some great content. He'll have fantastic interviews and behind-the-scenes looks at what's happening there in Indy. And again, the magazine comes out March 6th on newsstands. You can look for an online order link or look at your local bookstores, your grocery stores. They'll be all over the place like they always are every year. I love putting that magazine together. Doug has some great features in there. I handled all the rankings and the mock drafts and the scouting reports for everybody. The team needs for all 32 teams are in there, like you can expect every year. We've got a one-on-one interview with Caleb Downs, who I think is the best player in this draft. He sat down with Doug for an exclusive interview, so that's in there, breaking down tape, going through his history as a football player. Just again, every year, I know I help write the magazine now, but I read that magazine for years and years back to being a teenager and falling in love with this process. And so I've always thought it's the best magazine in the business, and I don't feel any differently now that I get to be part of the great team that puts it together. So definitely look forward to that on March 6th and lock it in at athlonsports.com. This whole week, the whole process leading up to the draft, we'll have you covered from every angle.
He's one of our favorites, Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, I know you're busy. Thank you, as always, for the time. Let's do it again a little bit after free agency. We'll see where some of the dust settled here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Appreciate you, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure. Take care.
Let's now welcome Jaguars legend and inaugural Pride of the Jaguars inductee, Tony Baselli.
1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Did you know your roof ages from the inside out? By the time you see a leak, damage already exists beneath the shingles. Sun exposure, humidity, and seasonal storms slowly weaken roofing materials over time. If your roof is 15 years old or more, then now is the time to start planning, not reacting. At Endless Summer Roofing, we provide professional inspections and clear guidance so you can make informed decisions. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summer.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
You lost your swing. We got to go find it.
It's your Saturday morning swing adjustment.
Grip it and rip it.
Get the golf tips and talk to take your game to the next level. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday mornings at 10 on 1010XL.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and Mascot Potty's there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search VanguardSportsLeague.com today.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
Hey Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. I mentioned the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Now, on-field work won't begin until Thursday. And Jaguar fans, Thursday is probably an important day for you. That's the defensive linemen and the linebackers. And if you look at this Jaguar roster, you could very well make the case that defensive line and linebackers are two of the biggest positions of need for Jacksonville, particularly if they lose Devin Lloyd in free agency. But before the workouts begin on Thursday, it's the talking season up there. A lot of general managers, almost every GM in the league, not named James Gladstone or Les Snead, is in Indianapolis, and most of the head coaches are in Indy, and a lot of them held press conferences earlier today. So there's a lot of news out in the National Football League. Let me give you the greatest hits of what came out today. You know when the end is near for a player and an organization? When they start refuting each other publicly. So earlier today, Cardinals general manager Monty Ossenfort, Arizona Cardinals GM, said that he had talked with quarterback Kyler Murray to discuss how last season unfolded. Although a source tells ESPN this evening that the two, in fact, have not talked since the season ended. When asked Tuesday at the NFL Combine whether he sat down with Murray to talk about last season, Ossenfort responded in the affirmative. Yeah, we've had good dialogue with Kyler, Ossenfort said. However, a source countered Ossenfort's affirmation. Murray played in just 5 games last season after suffering a foot injury in Week 5 against the Titans, was placed on IR, and did not see the field again. Obviously, we all thought the end was near between Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. This would just add fuel to that fire, that in fact Arizona will be moving on and Kyler Murray will be moving on. Speaking of quarterbacks that are moving on, looks like Kirk Cousins will be moving on in Atlanta. New Falcons general manager Ian Cunningham earlier today said Atlanta plans to cut Kirk Cousins when the league calendar starts 2 weeks from tomorrow on Wednesday, March the 11th, making Cousins a free agent. And that begs the question, when Cousins enters the fray of the quarterbacks that are available, kind of where is he in the pecking order? Obviously, all eyes are on Malik Willis. He's going to be highly sought after. We just mentioned Kyler Murray. Potentially Tua could be in play, right? We'll see about Daniel Jones, but keep in mind he's coming off that Achilles. And now apparently Kirk Cousins will be available. Another Falcons move today, Kyle Pitts, franchised in Atlanta officially. We kind of got word of that last week, but the Falcons officially put the franchise tag on Kyle Pitts. Teams have until next Monday, I believe, March 2nd, to put the franchise tag on their players. And Kyle Pitts franchised in Atlanta. Aaron, that surprised you at all that Pitts gets the franchise tag with the Falcons?
No, I mean, I think he's just too good of a player to just allow him to just walk. I mean, there would be plenty of teams that would be chomping at the bit to get their hands on Kyle Pitts if he were to hit free agency.
And look, Kyle Pitts coming off his best statistical year in Atlanta. Keep in mind, new Falcons head coach Kevin Stefanski obviously worked with David Njoku the last couple years in Cleveland. They used the tight end in Kevin Stefanski's offense, so one would think Kyle Pitts could have a big impact with the Atlanta Falcons moving forward. Speaking of the franchise tag or possibly the transition tag, the New York Jets plan to either re-sign or tag running back Breece Hall by next Monday. Breece Hall was scheduled to become a free agent on March the 9th. It appears that is not going to happen, as the Jets are working towards a long-term deal, and if they do not get that deal, they plan on using a tag on Breece Hall to keep him in New York. Also, the rumor for a while now has been George Pickens will be franchised in Dallas. Again, I don't think that has officially happened yet, but the Cowboys do have until next Monday to do that. All the conversation coming up through today was that Max Crosby potentially had played his final game as a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, somebody forgot to tell Raiders general manager John Spytek that, because Spytek today in Indianapolis at the Combine says he expects Max Crosby to be a Las Vegas Raider in 2026. Now, it is talking season. Conversations can quickly change, but I'll take the general manager at his word for the here and now, is that he expects Crosby to be back in the silver and black in 2026. And Houston general manager Casario comes to the podium today in Indianapolis and says any talk about C.J. Stroud being traded is, quote, moronic, that C.J. Stroud will be a Texan for the long haul. My response to that is good. Good. Absolutely. I think that's the right thing to do, Houston. If I were you, I would work on a 5 or 6 year deal, pay C.J. Stroud $50-55 million a year. What are we talking about? Maybe 6 years, $300 million, something like that. I think that would be the ideal scenario. That is what the Texans should do moving forward. I would put my stamp of approval on that, because I will take our guy here in Jacksonville any day of the week and twice on Sundays in the fall over C.J. Stroud. Give me Trevor Lawrence for the next decade. You can have C.J. Stroud in Houston, and I will certainly like Jacksonville's chances moving forward in the AFC South. More on the National Football League coming up later on here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, a little bit on the college hardwood. Big week for the Florida Gators. Patrick Young joins me in less than 15 minutes, and we'll talk a little Todd Golden and Gator basketball next on a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida. Glad to be with you till 10 o'clock. It's Hacker After Dark.
Feel the weight of tradition in every swing. 1010XL is your radio home for the Players' Championship with live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by Shillington Creek Pest Control,
Jack's Outdoor Solutions,
and Firehouse Subs.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Attention Northeast Florida golfers. Save hundreds on golf at premier local courses and support youth development. The First Tee of North Florida Tour Card is your key to big savings and making a difference. For just $99, you'll unlock discounted golf and offers at top courses and local businesses all year long. Plus, every tour card purchase helps fund programs that build character, confidence, and life skills for kids in our community. Grab your tour card today at tourcard.org.
Follow the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL. Who's going to be a combine champion?
There's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game.
Combine coverage is brought to you by Paul & Sons Plumbing and Window World of Northeast Florida.
Tusk, the classic tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Friday, March 6th at Florida Theater. Playing the hits and deep cuts of rock and roll Hall of Famers Fleetwood Mac. An unforgettable show with the iconic music you love. On sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Tusk. Recreating the Fleetwood Mac experience like no other.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infinity is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infinity is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infinity? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfinity.com or visit Atlantic Infinity off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
What Major League Baseball player has the most stolen bases in his career?
Just letting your homeowner's insurance renew each year may cost you money. Shop around and you may find a better plan. Let Southern Oak Insurance give you an option at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Oakland A's outfielder Ricky Henderson stole 1,406 bases during his career, including 130 in 1982.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is. But what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Big week in college basketball coming up in a matter of moments, inside of about 10 minutes or so. Miami and Florida State. Well, Miami's a good basketball team, 21-6 on the year. Good year for the Hurricanes. They take on a Florida State team in Tallahassee that I think has won like 5 of their last 7. Little bragging rights on the line. Florida State 14-13 on the year, but playing better. So Miami and Florida State tip off in less than 10 minutes over in Tallahassee. As far as in the Southeastern Conference, Kentucky with a much-needed win tonight. They beat South Carolina. Later on this evening, Tennessee and Missouri, Auburn and Oklahoma. And then tomorrow night, and we're going to talk about this with former Gator big man Patrick Young coming up here in less than 10 minutes or so. The Gators go to Texas, and then they take on Arkansas on Saturday. A win tomorrow and a win on Saturday, I believe, would lock up an SEC regular season championship for Florida. When you take into account tiebreakers and everything along those lines, I think tomorrow night and Saturday, win-win in that scenario, Florida would be your SEC regular season champions. And we had Mark Long on earlier today on the Frangie Show. He was talking with Todd Golden earlier before the Gators took off for Austin for tomorrow night's game. Golden believes if they win out the regular season and they win the SEC tournament, now that's lofty. All right, they've already won, 7 games in a row, right? They're 12-2 in the conference. That would be 4 more wins and then 3 more wins in the tournament. So you're talking entering the NCAA tournament on a 14-game winning streak, which would be the case if they win the remaining regular season games and win the SEC tournament. But Golden believes that would be enough to get them a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. We'll see. Arizona has lost a couple of games. Houston has fallen back to the pack a little bit. And as far as Florida, they're playing some of the best basketball in America. You realize Todd Golden and Florida are 57-10 in their last 67 games. 36-4 last year, 21-6 this year. That's a 57-10 mark over their last 67 contests. Tomorrow night's going to be interesting, though, and we'll get more into this with Patrick Young in just a moment. Look, Florida's got a big one against John Calipari in Arkansas on Saturday in Gainesville, Saturday night. College game day will be there. Florida's coming off a big road win on Saturday against Ole Miss. Another road game. I hate back-to-back road games, having to go back on the road even farther west to Austin to play the Longhorns. A Longhorn team that's pretty desperate. A Longhorn team that's 7-10, firmly on the bubble. They certainly need this one more than Florida does for their tournament standing. The Gators need it for seeding purposes. Scary game for the Gators. But I will say this. At the end of the day, Florida has won their last 4 road games by an average of 20 points. They have obliterated South Carolina, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss, all on the road. I mean, obliterated them. Florida's not scary to go on the road. They're not scared of anybody. They're playing some of the best basketball in America. I think it is a hard-fought game, but talent, to me, will win out tomorrow night. And I think Florida will beat Texas, which will set up, again, a chance to win an SEC regular season championship with a win over Arkansas on Saturday. Let's talk about the Gators. Let's talk about Todd Golden, and let's talk about what they've done to this point, and let's look ahead to both Texas and Arkansas with former Gator big man Patrick Young. You hear him every week here on Hacker After Dark. You get him every Friday on the Gator Bites podcast, the newest addition of the 1010XL family, and Patrick's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. He'll do that next on a Tuesday with you till 10 o'clock. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
You demanded more of us. You demanded perfection. But we have won every single game we have played till now. So this team is perfect. We stepped out on that field that way tonight. That's how we want to leave it.
1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for the Blue Crab Crab House. February means the Mardi Gras menu returns to the Blue Crab Crab House. Gumbo, shrimp Orleans, blackened redfish, appetizers, dessert, and more. This includes, of course, their regular menu where you get crabs from the Alaskan waters, the Canadian waters, the Southern Georgia waters. It's only at the Blue Crab Crab House. Doors open at 4:30, San Jose, and, of course, Julington Creek Road.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Fine Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 24th, 1967, Wilt Chamberlain shot 18 for 18 from the field against the Baltimore Bullets, an NBA record for field goals in a game without a miss.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Florida Gators keep rolling. They are now 12-2 in SEC play, 21-6 overall. Only 4 games left in the SEC conference slate. They got the big one coming up on Saturday against Arkansas. Before they get there, They got an interesting road test out in Austin against the Texas Longhorns. Let's look ahead to the next two. Let's look back on the Ole Miss victory with Patrick Young. You hear him all over the 1010XL airwaves, the 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's with me every Friday on Gator Bites, and he's always kind enough to join us here as well on Hacker After Dark. Patrick, how we doing, pal?
I'm doing great, man. I'm always great after a Gator win. Always. And boys looking good right now.
Yeah, I saw your reaction on the 1010XL social media platform. And first and foremost, there's a lot to break down with you, but I made one note about Saturday's win over Ole Miss that I wanted to get your thoughts on. It's a 20-point game with about 2.5 minutes to go. Starters have been pulled. Arena is emptying out. And Micah Hanlockton, a 7'1" senior who already has a national championship on his finger, dives for a loose ball in a 20-point game with 2.5 minutes to go. If that isn't a poster play for what Todd Golden has built at Florida, I don't know what is.
Wow. I don't even remember that, but that is incredible, man. Just the mindset. I can remember during my time that we would, we're beating the team down and we'd let the other guys in. And the thing was, it's different. Micah Hanlockton, he's a guarantee. He's getting minutes every single game. But we had some players that they weren't getting consistent minutes, and when they got their opportunities, it's like they forgot what was, the mindset or what we were asking them to do as a team. And I was just like, man, it's just crazy that these guys probably want more time. And when they get the opportunity, like in practice, they weren't doing it. And in the game, they especially weren't doing things like that, diving on the floor. And that's, it just goes to show what Coach Golden has instilled in his players. Like, Micah Hanlockton, he's the one guy that I really wish could have improved a little bit more coming into the season. But what he brings to the table, you cannot replace it. And, I mean, in the game previously, or was it this one, where he played 15 minutes, 5 points, and 9 rebounds. Let me pull up the box score. But just the mindset from this entire team, even Isaiah Brown, man. Like, Isaiah Brown has had such spotty minutes throughout this year, and it's like it doesn't even matter. He comes in and he does his job, man. It is an awesome sight to see.
Former Gator big man Patrick Young with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Patrick, Alex Condon reminded us on Saturday that he's still an offensive playmaker. He was dynamic. Thomas Houck as well. Those two combined for 45-plus points in the win over Ole Miss. Yeah, it was a dominating effort by Houck and Condon.
Yeah, that's all. And, we understand that, with the depth this team has, it's going to vary of who's going to be those 20-point, scorers per night. And I wonder, too, I'm not close with Alex Condon, but I wonder if early in the season, if he's just been in his head so much thinking about the expectations around him. And look, don't get me wrong, like Condon he's double-teamed the most on this team. No one gets double-teamed more than he does. There's a reason why he's leading the team in turnovers. Like as a big guy, people are coming after him. But I worry about him being able to finish season strong. And I brought it up. He played last season, I think he had 27 against Alabama on the road. And then I don't want to say did nothing after that, but, he wasn't a huge factor. Thomas Houck, he was the one that really saved this team in terms of the front court for the remainder of the season after that Alabama game. And you just hope that Condon, I seen him having a 24-point game, 6 assists, 1 turnover. Just hope that he can continue to build off of this. I mean, he looked so good around the basket. His hook shot looked great. He was decisive. I'm hard on him because I know how good he can be. I mean, I don't know fully, but I see how great potential he has. And sometimes his indecisiveness and, not being as a great, how can you look at Thomas Houck and see how, Thomas Houck looks like he goes at 125 miles per hour all the time. Like, that dude goes full go every time. And I just think, Alex Condon he needs to be his own player. but that there's some things that he can definitely pick up from his roommate in terms of just that level of that mindset of attack. You know what I'm saying, Hack?
No, there's no doubt about it. Condon, for the first time really this year, I thought was really, formidable as far as trying to find his offensive game. He was driving to the hole. He even buried a three. You and I have talked about that. He actually made one of those threes. Final thought, Patrick, about the Ole Miss win, because certainly we want to preview Texas and Arkansas this week. Urban Clabsar, I'm not saying he's Lee Humphrey or your guy, Michael Frazier, from behind the three-point line. But I will tell you this, that guy's in the zone right now, man. I mean, he's approaching rarefied air when it comes to three-point makes for a season for a guy coming off the bench in Gator history. He is outstanding in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I would say in terms of importance to the team, put them right in that category with a Michael Frazier, with a Lee Humphrey, the importance that they bring, the impact. And just think, he comes off the bench. So him having this ability coming off the bench is even greater because what a great compliment it is to Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan. Boogie Flan that's, he shot 3 of 6 last game from the three-point line. But up until that point before, he was like 7 of 55 from the three-point line in the last 8. 7 of 55. Like, goodness gracious, that's rough. But, just because of the shooting woes, and obviously Denzel Aberdeen transferring out, and then Urban Clabsar's size. I'm just like, man, is he really going to be able to find a role? And yes, because he can shoot the ball so well, it's lifted a burden of relief off of Boogie and Xavier Lee for sure. And then I add on top because Ruben Chinyelu has been playing so dominant in the paint. It gives, because at first, like, it was really hard to get Clav some opportunities. Like, he's one of those guys running around screens like crazy trying to get the shot. And I love too, like, he's shown his ability to, like, he's more than just a three-point shooter. He had a beautiful against Kentucky, a little pump fake, going down the lane, step back jump shot that is just like, oh man, if he's able to continue to do stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult for teams to take away anything Florida's good at. He is invaluable, is the long story short. Urban Clabsar is invaluable to this Gator team.
Final moments with former Gator great Patrick Young. All right, Patrick, let's begin looking forward. Tomorrow night, I don't think the SEC schedule makers did Florida any favors. For SEC standards, Gainesville to Oxford is a pretty decent trip on Saturday. They then come home only to turn around basically 72 hours later and have to fly to Austin for a game tomorrow night. Is that going to affect them at all?
So run that back. So they
were at Ole Miss on Saturday, right? Then they come back to Gainesville, and now they got to go even further west out to Austin to play Texas. Is that going to affect them at all?
I don't want to make excuses for this great team. Texas is a really good team. Their record might not exactly reflect it, but in me watching them, like, they've been in some great games. They have awesome talent. Tremont Mark has been in college like 30 years. Dalen Swain, he's awesome. This kid Vogatitis, 7-footer, he's got some skill to him as well. Man, I just think because of Florida has one thing in mind. Coach Golden, he's probably not going to practice these guys hard going into the game, especially with how they played against Ole Miss. I mean, I still wouldn't say A game. I'll give it A-, B+ game. Against South Carolina, that was their B game. But I think Florida can go into Austin, and I think they can win. I think they can win in Austin with a B-. We don't want to see that as fans, but I believe Texas is going to come out with. Look, they're in the tournament, but every team's going to want to fight for a higher seed. So, like, this is the opportunity for Texas to knock Florida off tomorrow. I don't think they will do it. I think the front court, again, is going to be too overbearing and overpowerful because it's like, shoot, if Vogatitis picks up 2 fouls early, they have no other answer. You got Micah coming in, Micah hand-logged in. Ruben Chinyelu is going to be battling him. Condon as well. I don't think they have a shot of winning the paint battle. And Texas, they're a low assist team. They have a lot of guys that are tough shot makers. When you take tough shots, and you're not hitting them, there's a few things that can happen. You can discourage your other teammates, and then also you can create some long rebound opportunities. And with the speed, as you know, I don't think people see and understand how fast Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan, Clav Charles, Thomas, how fast those guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if they get any step on you in a fast break, it's over. It's over. So you better, Texas, like they need to, if they're going to win, they have to knock down. They're going to have to knock down a lot of tough shots, and they have to get back in transition. They have to.
I guess I'm just leery of 2 road games in 4 days. I hate the second road game in a 4-day stretch. And when you consider as well, Patrick, and maybe this is just media guy talking here, you tell me, Arkansas on Saturday, game day is going to be there for ESPN. Is there any thought of a look ahead for Florida? Do they need to be worried about that tomorrow night?
About Arkansas?
Yeah, as far as Arkansas on Saturday, game day, ESPN's going to be there, national TV, yet they have to play this Texas game tomorrow night. Are they going to look past Texas, looking ahead to Arkansas, or is Todd Golden going to nip that in the bud?
I hope not. I hope he's not worried about, these guys aren't thinking about Saturday at all. They need to be locked in and focused on tomorrow. It is obviously great for the school and whatnot for game day, and I'm sure they're going to have Coach Golden out there and maybe some players early in the day to come out there but that is like you take care of what is in front of you. You have to eat your food before you get to the dessert, or I don't know what analogy I want to use here, Hack, but that's a shortcoming for this team if they're focused on Saturday when today's Tuesday and you got Texas tomorrow. Or Monday, and you got Texas tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see what ultimately happens. Again, only 4 games to go in the regular season. Leave us with this final question, 60 seconds. Boy, interesting weekend in the SEC. Kentucky is going to find themselves on the bubble here pretty quick. They're in free fall. Vandy doesn't look near as good as they've been. It looks like Florida's the best team in the conference. But I got to tell you, Patrick, Tennessee, they're getting better every game. I think Tennessee's going to be making a run in Nashville at the SEC tournament.
Oh, man, I didn't even see that Kentucky lost at the tip against Auburn. Man.
So they're in trouble now. They got to start winning games.
Yeah, they're spiraling right now. And, it's funny, Pastor Joe be here in Jacksonville. He referenced and talked about this past Sunday about Georgia Bulldogs basketball beating Kentucky. He really enjoyed that. That's surprising. Yeah, I think Tennessee is playing well. My worry and concern with Tennessee is sometimes, man, they just can't score. They go through periods where they defend you well, but it's difficult for them to find pay dirt at times. But I think, Nate Amen, he's cooled off a little bit since his run of like 20-something point games in a row. And Gillespie, he's playing really well. The biggest improvement for Tennessee has been in their front court in Akpara and J.P. Estrella. Those guys finally really stepping it up. Tennessee, they defend well, man. It's just, again, I worry about them on the offensive end always.
Patrick Young was a McDonald's All-American. He was the 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and now he's with us here on 1010XL. You'll see him all over the 1010XL stream, including Gator Bites on Friday, and we're always happy to have Patrick with us here on the radio side on Hacker After Dark. Patrick, I know you got SEC Network duties tonight. Are you back on the network tomorrow night as well?
Yeah, back to back. My last Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's good. The last week of the regular season, all the games are on Tuesday, so I get to come home early and then shoot, man, pretty much ready for postseason play.
It'll be here quick. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Patrick, I know you're busy, man. Thank you, and I'll see you on Friday for Gator Bites.
Yes, sir.
It's Jacksonville's Super Bowl of golf. If you can't make it to the Players, let 1010XL bring the players to you with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by
Purple Heart Pools,
Universal Roof and Contracting,
and Kuhn Flowers.
So, Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. Look, I get asked all the time, Hacker, how'd you lose all the weight? on Awaken 180? What about the shots? Do they hurt? What about the pills? How big are they? And I say, whoa, wait a minute. There's no shots on Awaken 180 weight loss. There's no pills on Awaken 180 weight loss. There is coaching with an actual human being that's with you every step of the way. I met with my coach, Kate, every week. Same time, same day. Tell her what's going on in my life. We make a plan for the week, what to eat, when to eat it, and the weight just falls off. The all-natural way. Again, I tried a lot of weight loss programs. You guys probably remember some of them if you've listened to me for a long time. None of them worked until Awaken 180 weight loss, over 100 pounds down. The bottom line is this. If it's time for you to lose the weight like it was for me, do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Get your life back. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Joe C. Join XL Primetime this Friday from 12 to 2 at the Pine Royale Golf Grand Opening in Callahan. Enjoy free play on the Trackman driving range, cash contest, and awesome vendors. Don't miss it. We'll see you at Pine Royale.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. Triumph did a really cool thing last year, Greg. They went off-road. What's happening with Triumph?
Well, not only did they go off-road, they threw all the chips on the table. Ricky Carmichael personally developed this motorcycle for them. So if you haven't seen the Ricky Carmichael 450, you need to come see it. Also just released some Enduros this year. They've got a full lineup. You're going to love them.
Talking Triumph, the latest off-road Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. Check out cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to Patrick Young for joining me tonight here on Hacker After Dark. You'll get Patrick and myself again Friday on the Gator Bites podcast, which you can check out on all the 1010XL social media platforms. Speaking of the Gators, hard to believe that 1 week from today, next Tuesday, what is that, March the 3rd, will be the first spring practice for John Summerall and Gator football. They begin spring drills 1 week from today. And, of course, the orange and blue game, I believe, what is that, April 11th, April 12th, sometime around there, whatever that Saturday is, the Saturday of the Masters. Orange and blue game tends to do that to you, put that opposite the Saturday of the Masters. But nevertheless, that is when it is, and we are certainly looking forward to that. Let's talk about the Gator spring football practice that begins next week a little bit. We'll certainly talk about Gator football, basketball. We talk about the Gators in Texas tomorrow night, Florida and Arkansas on Saturday. Let's also talk about some of the college guys that are at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. We'll do all that with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. With you till 10 o'clock, Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
Buckle up your chin strap.
Blitz! You gotta blitz them!
1010 XL.
You blitz all night!
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
We're gonna blitz like Dick Butkus.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care. Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies. Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one!
Listen for the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010 XL AM.
Something new is swinging into town, and you're invited. Pine Royale Golf is celebrating its grand opening, February 27th from 11 to 3. Come tour the property, enjoy free limited play on the Trackman driving range, plus giveaways, contests, and free snacks. Dress in your best funky golf style for photos and prizes. Take a shot at the $500 hole-in-one challenge. It's golf, games, and good vibes. Search Pine Royale Callahan to learn more.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are two important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The two-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at Jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Your home for Gators Hoops is 1010XL.
With 4 games left before the conference tournament, the Gators try a Texas two-step as they amble into Austin to lasso the Longhorns. Florida, Texas, tomorrow at 7 on 1010 AM.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hacker here. We're rolling towards March, and for most people, that just means better weather and more golf. For me, 2 years ago, this time of year was a life changer. Honestly, it felt like a lifesaver. That's when I started Awaken 180, and in 1 month, I was down 35 pounds. 2 months, 50 pounds. And no, it wasn't magic. It wasn't some miracle shot. I tried the meds. I tried the cutting carbs. I tried convincing myself I was fine. None of it stuck. Awaken 180 wasn't a trick. It was a solution, a real plan, a coach who didn't let me drift, and the weight just melted off. That's the only way I can describe it. And here's the best part that matters. It stayed off. I'm not bracing for it to come back. I've kept my 122 pounds off for well over a year, and it stayed gone. Have 35 to lose? Cakewalk. 50? Simple. If March for you is just another month, fine. But it could be your turning point. It was mine. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Nate Bargatze.
It's a lot to have two dogs, because you gotta open the back door and let two dogs out.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. 5-star Veterans Memorial Arena, February 26th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFL Scouting Combine going on up in Indianapolis. Hard to believe we got spring football. Yeah, spring football for some big-time colleges starting, including the University of Florida, which begins early next week with John Sumrall. And, of course, March Madness on the horizon, and the Florida Gators continue to play some very good basketball. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and we're lucky enough to get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, Hank, this is an interesting part of the year. Things kind of collide, shall we say, with the NFL and the college game as far as players are concerned. But but we are right around the corner of starting spring ball with a lot of teams. Florida going to be one of the first to begin. And then we've got some other, like Georgia, won't begin until like March the 18th. So I think that's kind of the fun thing about spring ball is we've got a lot of different dates, and someone starts early, and someone finishes early. So that's interesting.
Yeah, again, Florida begins, I believe, next Tuesday, March the 3rd, is their first practice for John Summerall's first spring there in Gainesville. Brent, I want to get to that in a moment, but before we do, we mentioned the NFL Scouting Combine. You are a college football encyclopedia. I'm not going to ask you about, the X's and the O's and the footwork and the 3-cone drill or anything like that, but certainly there are some storylines heading into the Combine. First and foremost is Fernando Mendoza. Now, he's not going to do very much, and he's likely to be the first overall pick come April. But, boy, what a story. What a legacy he left in college football to go from what he was at Cal, which, quite frankly, he didn't have a very good team. They were one of the 2 teams that FSU actually beat in 2024. People tend to forget that. To going to Indiana, going 16-0, winning a Heisman Trophy, and capping it off with a national championship. Boy, Mendoza will be remembered in the college game for a long, long time.
I hope he has as good a coaching in the pro level as he did the college level, and that's not being a shot at the NFL. It's just how good that Indiana was as far as developing him. And he did a great job. And look, he's got some wheels on him, and he can run a little bit when he needs to do it. Accuracy, good decision making. I mean, he just, as you said, Hack, he just had one of those years that were just almost magical, and it led to a national championship. And I think he will have some of that in the NFL.
He's one of the most wholesome kids you'll ever meet, just unbelievably polite, genuine, and of all places, he's going to Las Vegas, more than likely. So I'm actually curious how that ultimately works out. Your guy at your alma mater, Ty Simpson, projected to be the second quarterback taken. Does that surprise you that Simpson's getting so much love here in the pros?
It's a combination of things. Simpson really is talented. Now, Simpson had some issues that are just now coming out. I mean, it's nothing that would keep him from playing, but frankly, toward the end of the season, Alabama, he went down to like 195, and now I think he's back up to 215. But when he gets protection, which the problem was in Alabama, he had a really weak offensive line. He will certainly have a better offensive line in the NFL. He's a smart kid. Even though he really only had one year at Alabama, I mean, Simpson is beloved in a lot of ways. Could have transferred to another school besides Alabama, Miami being one of those. But he decided that he was going to the NFL instead to start his career. And Hank, you understand this well as anybody I know. He is coming out at a time to where the quarterbacks going to the draft are not deep. So, and I've seen him being like picked 21st or something like that to the Steelers. So sometimes timing is everything, is it not, when you decide to come out?
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. It is all about timing. And, boy, the timing has been really good for Carson Beck in his career, from winning a state championship here at Mandarin High School to doing great things at Georgia to getting Miami within a whisker of a national championship. It's been quite the career for Carson Beck. He's projected to be a mid-round selection, so I don't know if NFL-wise he is as beloved as maybe he was in the college game. But what is your thought about Carson Beck and how he'll be remembered on the college gridiron?
Really, people are honest. They will say that when he had his opportunity, he took advantage of it. Now, one could argue that he probably threw too many interceptions, but still, I think his interception touchdown ratio is still good enough to where he could play in the NFL. Look, when you have played at two different schools in Georgia and Miami and had the success that he made, I mean, he's going to get a look easily, isn't he, Hank?
Yeah, there's no doubt, and he should, and he's deserved that. And then finally, one thought on a Florida Gator, and again, I believe he's going to work out at the Combine. This guy kind of stole the show at the Senior Bowl, and that's Caleb Banks. Brent, I think Gator fans were kind of robbed of Caleb Banks' final year at Florida due to injury. I'll give Caleb Banks an immense amount of credit for actually coming back and playing the last 2 games amidst a terrible season at Florida. I think that shows the kind of kid that Caleb Banks is. All indications are he was one of the best players out there in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and he might have worked his way into the first round.
Well, when you come back, even for a short period of time, it gives teams something to look at. So they've got some film on him. I mean, they had film right before he got hurt. But, I mean, what does that show? It shows that he has some tenacity and he has a willingness to come back and help his team. That, I can tell you that won't be forgotten. So, and in the long run, if people are looking at him, that will give him opportunities, Hank. Don't you think that otherwise he may not have gotten?
Caleb Banks, soon to be a former Florida Gator. Let's talk about the current Florida Gators. Brent, we mentioned earlier, early next week, March the 3rd, the Gators are on the field for practice number 1, spring football for John Sumrall. I mean, is it as simple as the biggest question being, is it a real quarterback competition between Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones? What are your overall thoughts from a mile-high view heading into Florida's first spring with Sumrall as head coach?
Excited to see it going. I think it's interesting that they are starting maybe sooner than a lot of teams. I mean, there are a lot of teams, Georgia included, that's not even starting spring until like the 18th. So they will get a little bit of a head start to go ahead and get on the field. Look, to me, the thing, I mean, we're human. We just can't help this. What do you want to see? You certainly want to see a Gator team that's going to be a lot smarter with its special teams. You're going to want to see, obviously, which quarterback is going to give you something, and I think they probably end up playing multiple quarterbacks. Frankly, you've got enough running backs coming back to where I think they'll be okay. Line of scrimmage is always huge. And look, I think Sumrall is going to be very good. I'm not saying he'll be great in his first year. I think there's enough that he's going to give them, and it's going to be great to be able to see them in the spring. People need to also remember we'll get to see more this spring because we don't have the portal going on in April like we did last year. The portal has already come and gone, thankfully. So that it's way too early to say this in some ways. But look, with this new coaching staff, the kids coming back, this team may be better than we think they're going to be.
Well, look, I think Philo versus Tramel Jones is one of the things I'm really interested in. I'll tell you something else, Brent. You know, when Billy Napier was the coach there, and maybe this was bad luck, or maybe it was deeper than this, even in the spring, every practice, somebody would be in an air cast, or somebody would be in crutches, or somebody have a sprained ankle, or a shoulder issue, and they'd be out for the rest of the spring. I want to see Florida get through a spring practice without 35 guys getting hurt.
Yes, yeah. Look, I think that's a fair assessment, and call it toughness, call it the way you practice. You know good well. Look, this is smart coaching staff at Florida. I think they'll look at a lot of what Napier's staff did and make some tweaks and adjustments where that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, to me, it became mind-boggling. Every time Florida would have a spring practice, or once you get into the fall, and the injury list would be 25 players long.
Yeah,
that needs to stop, and hopefully it will. Final moments with Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, I want to get to college hoops, but before that, in college football, we're just used to things. Now, a lot has changed, certainly, in the last 5, 10, 15 years. NIL, the portal, and most of us have adapted to change because what other choice do we have? But one of the things that's been a fixture is Army-Navy by itself. On one weekend, it's the only ball game in town, and it gets the attention of the entire country. Is that going to change in hopes of moving the schedule of the playoff up moving forward?
Well, it's possible, and one of the guys who like to see it change is Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army. He says that he would like to see the game changed to Thanksgiving weekend. Now, what that would be is you would get the game in earlier, but you would lose some of your spotlight that you would normally have when the game is on a weekend where really nothing else is going on. So you give that up in order to, frankly, start the playoff sooner and then the playoff sooner. That's really what this is about. Now, President Trump is one who is very on board with this game having the spotlight that it deserves and protecting the game whenever the date's going to be. So we're not saying this is going to happen immediately, but I think with the way the calendar's set up right now, and as late as the national championship game is being played, I think we're seeing kind of I don't know if I'd call it a groundswell, would you, Hack, that of people who want to see the national championship game played, say, mid-January instead of where it is now the next few years, and that may not change, which is at the end of January. So, I mean, for crying out loud, we've got, if I remember this, Hank, we've got the Super Bowl next year on Valentine's Day. So, if we're not careful, look, we all love football and more football, but at some point, you've got to be fair with the other sports, and you've also got to be fair with your fans.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I got to be honest. I love the Army-Navy game. My stepfather was United States Navy. My brother was 82nd Airborne in the United States Army. My dad was United States Navy as well. I mean, I love everything about it. But I do think that it kind of moves the schedule back when you have that as a standalone game, and moving it up would help the game of college football. So finally, speaking of college athletics, I got to ask you this. Florida and the SEC, as we get ready to enter March Madness, I saw the NCAA and the ESPN writers and all that. They did their mock selection Sunday last week, and they had Florida as a 3 seed at the time. Now, that was before Florida absolutely destroyed Ole Miss. Now Florida's back up to the top 10 in America. I believe they're number 7 right now. And I'm not sure, Brent, you look at Houston losing Monday night. You look at Michigan, who just took a loss to Duke. I'm not sure how many teams in America, not the SEC, but America, are playing better than the Florida Gators are right now.
Well, there are very few of them at 12-2 right now in the standings. And look, you mentioned Houston. Houston's a really good team. They're top 10, top 15 team, and no question. But they've also lost like 3 in a row. So what we're seeing is the schedule kind of levels these teams out as it goes along. Even Michigan, that people were talking about Michigan belonged in the NBA. They were being amusing about that, but still. Yes, as we head on into March, some of this stuff levels out. But what we're seeing with Florida, the bigs are good. They can move, and they can score. The thing we're seeing right now with Florida is the guards who have been unable to hit a 3 to save their life. Even that's coming around. So Florida right now is frankly. Just an amazing basketball team. And if people have not heard this, ESPN Game Day coming to Gainesville on Saturday. So Gators will get a lot more coverage. And what's going to be a humongous game, isn't it, Hack, with Arkansas coming in. And look, Arkansas and Alabama had a 117, 115 type thing the other day, which is nothing short of amazing, but there's no doubt about it. When you look at teams, Hack, there can't be 5 teams in America playing better than Florida is right now, is it?
No, I don't believe there is, and we got to go quick here. Game day on Saturday. Calipari comes in and the Razorbacks. Huge game Saturday night at the O'Connell Center. Brent, tomorrow night in Austin, that one smells to me, man. Florida's playing really well, and Texas is coming off a loss. They're reeling. It's a weird 6 o'clock local Central Time game, 7 o'clock Eastern out in Austin. I don't know if Florida loses tomorrow, but I think that game's going to cause Gator fans some indigestion. That's going to be a tough one tomorrow night.
It very well could. Texas is 17-10, 8-6 in the conference. So that's something you consider. I mean, they play well, but at this point, there's no doubt about it. That will be a huge test. I think we all thought Texas would come in playing basketball as good as they're playing football, and that, frankly, has not happened. Tramon Mark is a guy that he has been inconsistent. They're trying to get him going for Texas too. So and Texas has struggled. So I went on the road, but my question for you and others are, Hank, is Florida good enough at this point, or even when they're not playing on all cylinders, that they can still win games? I frankly think with that front line they can.
Yeah, I think so. They don't need to play their A game necessarily, but I've had that Texas game circled for a couple of weeks now. Yeah. I got a feeling about that one tomorrow night. We'll see if Florida can win, despite I think Texas is going to give Florida their best shot. We always get Brent Beard's best shot. You see him on First Coast News, and we get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, there's a lot going on. Thank you as always, and hard to believe the next time you and I talk, the Florida Gators will be in spring football practice.
It is amazing. One wonderful time of year in many ways, Hank. Always enjoy it, my friend.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark, as we talked a lot about Gator basketball, obviously. They got a big one tomorrow night. Now, they got a big one Saturday, right? College game day will be in Gainesville for Arkansas and Florida. Tomorrow night, a road game, another back-to-back road games. They got to go for SEC standards, take a pretty long trip out to Austin. It's a pretty desperate Texas Longhorn team coming off a loss. I don't know. Tomorrow night, I think, might be tough for Florida, tougher than some would think. We'll see what happens, but certainly we talked about that. Obviously, John Summerall and Gator football kick off spring practice, I believe 2 weeks from today. As a matter of fact, will be their first spring practice on March the 3rd. And then obviously the scouting combine going on up in Indianapolis. We touched upon all of that with Brent Beard, and we certainly thank him for joining us. We spent some time, obviously, on the combine and certainly on the Jaguars and free agency, which now is less than 2 weeks away. It is going to be here before we know it. We got the scouting combine all week with on-field drills kicking off on Thursday. And then next week is kind of the calm before the storm. And then Monday, March 9th is when the legal tampering period begins, with NFL free agency and contracts can officially be signed on Wednesday, March the 11th. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Glad to be back with you guys after a night off last night here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke is one of the main draft guys at Athlon. He helps write the Athlon Draft magazine that is always so popular every single year. Really enjoyed talking with Luke about not only the draft, but about impending free agency and everything going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Excuse me. So we certainly appreciate Luke taking time out for us tonight. And also Patrick Young, the 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He was a terrific player for Billy Donovan and the University of Florida. Patrick's been to a Final Four. He joins me every Friday on the Gator Bites podcast. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, as he's one of the brand new additions to the 1010XL family. And we certainly appreciate Patrick Young for joining us tonight to talk a little Gator basketball. Now, we will be back tomorrow. Also sitting in with Hayes Carline on the Frangie Show for the rest of the week. So I'll be with you from 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock, and then right back here for a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark tomorrow night from 8 o'clock until 10. Aaron Williams was your producer tonight. Aaron, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will talk to you again both tomorrow at 4 o'clock on the Frangie Show, and then right back here at 8 o'clock for a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.